Welcome back to The Last of Us Remastered. So,
Part 2.
fun fact, by the way, Gus, the composer, he also did the score for
Box
oh,
Trolls.
God, what's oh, he did the score for that?
Oh,
I think-
nice.
What's the name of the composer?
Wait. It was either that or Book of Life. I can't remember which one.
I forgot the English the original name of that movie, the one with Bang Lee.
Gustavo Santalola.
Yeah,
Gustavo Santaolalla.
He's Argentinian.
So I guess it's up to me to pronounce the Argentinian names of the group. Weird, you'd think Pedro would.
Not really. Not really. I mean, yeah, there's similarities to the language, but it's not like it's Spanish or anything. Anyway, okay. Oh, that's one.
Are you talking about Ron Rocco?
One thing that I really love about Neil's dialogue is how it sounds very classic James Cameron-esque, as in pre-Titanic James Cameron.
Okay, because that made me worry.
Pre-Titanic James Cameron. Like, for example, one specific...
Which happened first, Terminator or Titanic?
No.
Terminator.
Titanic was way after Terminator. Anyway,
Okay.
like, for example, I'm sure... Alright,
Remind me, what was his movie? Oh, what was James Cameron's first movie after Titanic?
no, Avatar. He took a long break.
Okay. So we had a long strung career, then took a break, and then it all went downhill with Avatar.
Alright, expanding...
You say downhill, but it made him a lot of money.
Alright, so this is another Neil Druckmann thing that he introduced and will later bring on to Uncharted 4, where you can find various collectibles over the course of the game, and some of them actually tell stories of their own to help expand upon the world of the game. So be sure to be on the lookout for those.
And to get on to one more segment.
Fortunately, unlike the narrative objects of Quantum Break, you don't need to get them to understand what's going on. So,
what are you going to say, Deji?
To get onto one more segue, the film James Cameron did after Titanic was Ghost of the Abyss. Then he did Avatar.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Hold on, I have to explain what's going on now. Basically, these are the spores.
Poisonous.
Yeah, the poisonous spores are what turns people into zombies.
Oh no, plants affecting people, it's the happening all over again.
Oh, God.
Alright, fortunately our heroes have gas masks, so they're safe.
Anyway, Deji, look, just because something made money, well, let me put it like this. Batman v Superman is one of the most highest gross rating films of all time. Do you consider that uphill?
Oh, God.
To corporations, they don't care as long as
I
it makes
rest
money.
my case. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because that mentality worked out so well for groups like Franchise Pictures, didn't it?
I was talking about Transformers. Look at how awful those movies are.
Yeah.
Let's
not get into... Come on, guys. That's not...
better, but we're just arguing semantics at this point. Pedro, how about we go back to...
I agree. We're just arguing semantics at this point. Anyway, this guy's mask broke. So you actually have a choice here. You can either leave him to turn, or you can give him a mercy kill. I always do that because, well, I like to think that's the right thing to do.
Although it must suck when you're in the realistic mode, then.
I would rather... Well, actually, the game does give you ammo in this section, so it's just one bullet. You're not going to die because of just one bullet, even in the realistic mode. But yeah, if you're that paranoid about sparing bullets, then sure, by all means, leave him to turn, you monster.
Yeah, well, hey, at least it's not like a bit in Spec Ops: The Line where apparently at some point in that game, the game tells you to do something and you do it, and then the game tells you off for doing it.
Alright, so much like in a Metal Gear game, you have to crawl like I'm doing right now in order to make less noise so you don't alert the zombies. In fact, and there's also another specific stealth mechanic that shows up. Basically, since you don't have assault and radar like in the Metal Gear games, instead we have a more realistic alternative that I'll be introducing right now, actually, I think. Yeah, you can hold R1 to focus Joel's hearing. and he'll be able to hear any people making noise. So this is what you can do to try to basically before you dive that deep into a specific section, be sure to listen carefully so you can see if there's any zombies nearby.
Just detective mode.
Yeah,
pretty much.
If for some reason you don't, if for some reason you prefer the challenge of just looking, you can turn it off in the options. Personally, I think the game is much more balanced with this mechanic because without that mechanic, it can be quite hard to tell where enemies are.
So I guess at some point Joel must have ingested. So I guess at some point Joel must have ingested a bat serum that allowed him to have echolocation in his ears, so he can literally tell what's going on.
Well, considering he's had 20 years of training, I guess at this point he's probably a pro at this.
Yeah. Although it would be interesting seeing what happened during those 20 years.
In fact, much like in what we're going to see in Uncharted 4, there's going to be plenty of zombie sections in this game where you can either, of course, try shooting the zombies, or if you're clever and you can manage to take down all the zombies with zombie kills, you'll be able to, get for the course of that section without using a single resource, and even your partner characters will congratulate you for it. So that's pretty cool. And not to mention, the game does reward you for doing stealth kills. Like sometimes when you do a stealth kill, the enemy will drop a specific item or some ammo that he wouldn't drop otherwise. So the game does reward you for playing methodically. Go ahead, Wizard.
Also, I was just going to say, like it would be in this kind of setting, your ammo count is really low, so you really need to be careful with how you shoot. Hence why I'm not recording this game.
Me.
I mean, seriously, by this point,
The Last of Us Part 2.
By this point, I'll probably have been dead 3 times over.
Another thing that here's another thing that I really love about Naughty Dog, by the way, which they proved with this game. Despite this being a darker, more gritty game than the Uncharted, Naughty Dog still did not fall under the trap of having a brown, boring color palette like the shittier Call of Duty games do. There's still plenty of color, especially outdoors. Oh crap! Oh yeah, here's another thing that I love about this game that Ingrid also mentioned. The hand-to-hand combat is actually really good. Despite it being technically simplistic, there's just something about the way the sound effects are programmed, and you feel every punch that Joel throws. Trust me, you have to play it to really get what I'm saying. Like, there's just something about
it doesn't require the PlayStation Move to use supposedly realistic stuff.
We didn't even need HD Rumble.
Bruce, I don't know what Bruce quite did, but he managed to find a really great balance where even though the hand-to-hand combat, is technically very simplistic, there's just something about the way it's done that really, like, you feel every punch that it's done.
Also,
so it's like the Arkham games in a nutshell.
Also, while I still got the chance, they're wearing masks. They're wearing gas masks. So, are you my mummy? There's the Doctor Who joke out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inside.
A lot of the character interactions are going to be like this, where a lot of times the characters will react to something you find in the environment. So it's a good idea to always try to interact with the characters as much as possible to get as much story and character development as possible.
And that also carried over into Uncharted 4.
Yeah, well, same directors, so.
Although, again, didn't Uncharted 3 kind of do that already?
Not to the extent of Neil and Bruce's games, honestly.
Well,
I mean, Uncharted 3, technically, I guess you can argue, kind of started that, yeah. But Neil and Bruce, I think, actually perfected it. I think, at least.
Fair enough.
All right, so, another thing that you...
Actually, it's funny. Oh, sorry, go on.
Number one rule of playing The Last of Us. After you're done killing all the zombies or enemies in a section, look around for any possible resource you can use. You will need them later, trust me.
Oh, Pedro, that's not rule 1.
All right, what is it?
Rule number 1: if your name is Dwibs, don't bother.
Oh, I love the lance is coming in a moment.
But you are in the city.
Hey, Pedro, question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is very crucial to the playthrough.
Go ahead.
Will you be showing off Ellie's puns?
Of course
Yes,
I will.
you
Do you
will.
honestly think? Do you honestly think I wouldn't? That's one of the best parts
Thank
of the
you.
game.
Thank
And
you.
that is one of the many ways I know, Deji, that you've got a lot to learn when it comes to our group. If you don't know that Pedro loves puns.
Not
Really?
not just
How
that.
come every time I tell puns, you always groan?
Not just that. It's not just that. Like, I'm the kind of guy who loves to get as much out of games as possible. In the sense that when a kid, like for example, in Stick of Truth, of course, even though they tell me to skip it, I always let Jimmy stutter as much as possible. Again, that's my basic thing when it comes to those things in games. I can keep this going as long as you can, game.
See, whereas I do it for the
Deji,
wonderment.
we're playing Undertale, and that's puns the game.
Yeah.
Does she mean Sans the game?
Boo, that joke doesn't even make sense. Because
Because Sans is the one that tells puns.
Everyone tells puns.
Well, obviously I know that, Deji. What I'm saying is like, well, the joke doesn't work because you're saying Sans a game, so that means that we're lacking a game.
No way. I've got a way you can work in Sans.
It's a sensation, isn't it?
No. Welcome to our playthrough of Uncharted, Sans the Uncharted.
So, okay, work Undertale into that, I guess.
Oh, I did.
Nessa Sans, guys. Nessa Sans. It's the 1 year anniversary.
Well, also, Deji, have you also heard the theory that Sans is Steven when he got cancer and died?
Wait.
I'll show you. Hold on.
What has Game Theory been doing now?
No, it's not Game Theory. It's not Game. It's
Yeah,
just-
sure. That's
Don't worry.
Is it like the
Let's get back on topic. Show me later.
Is that like the palatophobia in the game theory where it parodies that kind of stuff?
Just don't worry.
Anyway, like she already
Anyway,
said, to get back
yeah.
on topic, one thing that I really love about this game is that, like I said, this is one thing that fortunately Naughty Dog never falls into that trap, where the color scheme, as you can see, is still very vivid despite the darker and grittier nature of the game.
Well, this game has an excuse at least.
No. Well, not just, it's not that good. What I'm saying is that it's so easy for a AAA game of this type to fall into that trap, but Naughty Dog fortunately escaped it.
That's basically Naughty Dog in a nutshell. It's like, well, they're the kind of people who you would expect, going from rags to riches would be the kind of people who would just, become that big company who just relies on name recognition. No, they still keep their spirit, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Like
Access
Ubisoft.
denied.
And adventure's no fun if it's too easy.
Times where I wish it were easy. Okay. While we're just walking,
Well, there's actually plenty of dialogue here, Dwib, so hold on. Doggies.
to explain my experience with stealth games.
They're probably not very friendly doggies.
Yeah.
Depends. Rats. Or possum? Oh no.
So yeah,
it's
they have.
rats.
So yeah, they have to be rats to survive.
Anyway, my experience with stealth games, the end. Well, okay, not entirely true. I did play Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 for a bit, but I always get so scared something will happen during a stealth game, so I just give up.
In that case, they'll have.
Do the sections in Paper Mario when you're playing as Peach count as stealth?
Oh boy.
I guess. Oh yeah, and yeah. Oh well. Looks like Tess is Tess is very respected around these parts. Well, if you say so.
Okay.
And we never found out.
No, go ahead. That bit there is the catalyst for Last of Us Part 2.
You see, if this was a Tetsuya Nomura game, we'd get a backstory on that guy. In the form of a game.
All right. Let's see, what's this? Wanted poster.
Wanted poster.
Wanted for Firefly
Hey, is that
affiliation.
Joel? No, it's not.
Of course, don't you see? This is all foreshadowing for X-Men Days of Future Past, where X-Men are either eliminated or wanted.
Actually, this is Logan, to be honest.
It's Marvel. Actually, it's a good segue because that woman we just saw in the Wanted. Oh, hold on, there's another thingy.
Fuck this!
Yes.
Greeting. An
Dude,
able-bodied
fuck
civilian, you are hereby issued work orders to participate in various duties relating to the quarantine zone. Basically, it's a work. It's about work and shit. But yeah, like I was saying, that woman we saw in the Wanted post is actually Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies. Who are the Fireflies? Basically, it's this resistance group who doesn't like the way the military has been handling things. So they're kind of a rebellious group.
She looks like that one girl from Uncharted 4.
Nadine, yeah. Well, same art director, so yeah.
Hey, Dwibs,
Yeah.
how are you with 2D action and puzzle stealth?
He's not good with stealth. Period. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, in that case, have fun with Giga Wrecker.
With what?
Giga Wrecker, the game that you called, made by Game Freak.
Yeah, why not? Sure.
You're the Pokemon fan, so go ahead.
Well, Pokemon's
Oh,
not
okay.
much.
However, despite the stealth and survival aspects of this game, there's still, of course, just shooting. So now this is basically a segment that kind of serves as a kind of tutorial for the shooting mechanics, which work exactly like in Uncharted. L2 to aim and R2 to shoot. The typical... So this is still technically a cover-based shooter at its basic core. You can still take cover, you can still shoot, just like in Uncharted. However, like I said before, the focus is not at all on that. This game focuses a lot more on conserving items, and of course, trying to use your weapons as less as possible.
That's what happens when you bring your fists to a gunfight.
Oh my god! Now you got me imagining Game Freak making a game kind of like this, but maybe more in their style.
Well,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
well,
Game Freak seems to
Sponsored
be all
by
about...
Sega.
well, if they
Honestly, it
make
wouldn't
something like,
surprise me.
well, if they make something akin to Sunset Overdrive, it could work. I mean, Sunset Overdrive is a zombie game, but it's very cartoonish and lighthearted in tone. So
And
See,
since it's a Game Freak game sponsored by Sega, they're not going to promote it and they're going to let it to die, just like Tembo the Badass Elephant.
Well, to be fair, Tembo had kind of more problems to it than...
True, but you didn't have to show just one trailer. It's like, oh, by the way, the game's like, what?
Yeah, true. They definitely relied a lot too much on the internet supposedly being the means to get everything.
I love that joke. How did Robert get all these?
The side effects.
I love that joke that they did. How did Robert get all these guys? Well, if there's one thing he's good at is writing blank checks.
Huh, this reminds me of Uncharted jokes. But yeah, to be fair, Dads, let's be honest, Tempo, the game, kind of had issues too.
Even if a game has issues, that's still no excuse.
This is not living.
What I'm saying is that lack of marketing was far from the
Remember
equation.
who we were. So yeah, you can clearly tell the Fireflies were here.
Wow, these guys must have been chock full of member berries.
Up we go.
And since
No entry.
and
So I'm
since
going to go right
the-
in.
The quote-unquote antagonists of the game are the Fireflies. Are they? Are
not
they?
so much. There
I
is
said quote-unquote.
there is one character who's probably the closest to an antagonist, but even this game doesn't really have a villain per se. It's mostly about surviving and shit. There's no actual main confrontation between any sort of villain, which I liked. I mean, it wouldn't really fit a game that's trying to go for what this game is doing.
So, but anyway, are there arch enemies? Fox.
No.
Please watch.
Oh, wait.
It's
Oh, wait.
good.
But Deji, you were so close. You could have made the joke that their rivals were Vox, V-O-X.
Oh, that's Sam
Yeah.
Regal.
I was trying to make a
Hold
Josh.
on. Hold on. Oh, hi, Sam Regal. How you doing?
Oh, God,
I
that
don't
was
get
Sam
it.
Regal.
There's a lot of great voice actors serving. Laura Bailey is also among the additional voice actors. There's Travis Willingham. There's plenty of it's not just the main cast. The entire group list of voice actors, even the additional voice actors, is full of talented people from top to bottom. Laura Bailey
And
is
by
in.
talented people, you mean everyone that has worked for Funimation at one point.
Wait, Sam
I
Rico used to work for Funimation?
No.
Okay, fine. How about anyone who's voiced an anime?
Laura
Did
Bailey
they
is
make a
also
voice
among
in an
them.
anime? When was that?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Let me check.
Joe, we always try and find the flaws in everything we say.
I think. Oh yeah, actually, here's an interesting thing. Speaking of voice actors, we are. Guess what? Even though Neil Druckmann did direct the main actors, he also had a co-director who directed the additional voice actors.
Yes, he has. He
Lea-
has worked in anime.
No, I was going to mention Liam O'Brien. Liam O'Brien, famous voice actor, was actually the director of the additional voice actor. So that's a little bit of trivia for you. I haven't told that to Teo yet, though. I'll have to tell to see what he reacts like. Anyway. Okay.
No, better yet, just let this upload.
What was that stepping sound I heard earlier?
So yeah, like Tess said, I take care of this guy while she takes care of the other. So yeah, the stealth kills work pretty much like in Metal Gear, where you can choke them until they die, basically.
So how does the world function?
When
What do you want to know?
we kind of already established that, but like what do you mean specifically?
Normal civilians that aren't doing what Joel and Dee.
Okay. Normal
okay.
civilians are just trying to survive. Fireflies are trying to rebel against the military, and the military is just trying to keep order in things. But of course, some of their methods can be questionable. But go ahead.
And there are also some civilians who, believe it or not, are just enjoying a normal life, believe it or not.
Yeah, there are, but
Because,
they're rare
unlike
though.
most zombie stories, well, actually, we're not quite sure if they're rare. Again, unlike most zombie stories, it's suggested that the zombies are in the minority and quarantined to certain areas as opposed to most ones. Since for as bullish as they can be, the military seem to be actually kind of effective in, at the very least, keeping zombies to their areas. Doesn't stop it from affecting the innocents, sadly.
Indeed. All right. And aside from this is another thing. Might as well talk about the pickups. The way to, unlike the Uncharted games, which no, there's gonna be something that's going to take place here. All right. So this is one of the more bigger stealth sections from the beginning. Like I said, I recommend trying to take them out silently as much as possible. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Unlike the Uncharted games, which have a Call of Duty style health system, where the more shots you take, eventually the screen starts going black and white and all that shit. I don't know what's the official name for that type of health system. Does it have an official name?
The health system.
HP bar.
No, Joe. But the Call of Duty style health system where the more
Instant regeneration.
when you get gunshots, and the more gunshots you do, the more black and white the screen turns, and eventually you'll die.
Oh, yeah, that. We have a TV trope name for that, but basically it's a matter of fading out.
All right, we'll go with fading out. Unlike Uncharted, this one doesn't have fading out. It actually has a life bar, as you can see there. The way to recover it is by using health kits. You can either find some health kits that some of these enemies have them, or you can make them yourself using alcohol, cloth, and what was the other ingredient? I forgot. I forgot the name of the other ingredient. Whatever. But basically, with all the resources you find, you can make your own health kits, specifically using alcohol. And so it's a good idea, of course, to keep your health kits stocked for when you're on the tougher battles in the game. Because there's actually because even though this game does not have a villain, there technically are boss battles. Specifically, but okay, in fact, I might as well get this out of the way right now. There's actually going to be different types of infected. We'll meet them as we go along.
Let's just say it's going to be big.
All right.
Definitely
So now-
science.
Don't
But
try.
Joel put his Jova hearing powers to good use.
There's one guy. There's three guys there.
That's a good question. Can that guy actually hear as good as I can?
Well, actually, that's a good segue. Allow me to bring up the upgrade system. Basically, I'm actually playing on a New Game Plus, so I already have all of the upgrades. But basically, the way
Even
this
the
goes.
flamethrower?
No. I mean upgrades in terms of stats. You know. Like for example, you can collect various quote unquote objects that give you points, and you can use those points to upgrade your hearing skills, meaning you'll be able to hear with further
Your
distances. Your what? What whips?
I guess you meant to upgrade stuff like your hearing, your senses, and whatnot.
Yes, you can hear. You can hear in larger distances
But
with it.
Jove, we need to hear from the horse's mouth. Record your what?
Whatever.
Base.
You can upgrade your health.
Who's gonna record the? I got nothing.
Anyway, you
What do you
can.
mean? Who's gonna record the bass? Bass.
All right.
You can
Hey,
upgrade
since we're in a zombie apocalypse, and we need to make sure all our friends are with each other, I'll do a roll call. Deji,
Yeah.
Jova,
Yo.
Shiroi,
What?
Pedro.
Can I finish what I was saying now?
Well, you cut out.
Okay. Anyway, what I was saying was you can upgrade your health bar, meaning it will make it larger, stuff like that, basically. And the upgrades will carry over in the New Game Plus. So obviously, you can basically keep doing New Game Pluses and eventually get all the upgrades. There is actually a trophy for it, even so. All right,
And
come here.
Random question. Does anyone else still find it weird that God of War is trying to be The Last of Us?
Eh?
a little.
Like I said, it's interesting you say that, Deji, because Teo is the big God of War fan of the group, and when I saw that trailer at E3, I actually thought to myself, "Oh my God, Teo's going to be so pissed off." But surprisingly, he actually is okay with it.
It's because the series was getting stale, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it kinda was.
I don't know because I'm not really into God of War, so you'll have to ask Teo for details about that.
It wasn't so much that it was getting stale, but what's just something about the first game, they kind of hit their peak to the point where, yeah, if they just did a rehash of the gameplay again, people would be calling it stale.
But I don't know. It just kind of feels weird to.
Oh, I find it weird as well.
They do keep some of the traditional gameplay elements from the old series.
Because it feels like it wants to capitalize on something that's big.
But hey, at least in the new God of War game, they got Teal'c from Stargate SG-1 to voice him now, so that's cool.
Another thing about the stealth in this game is you also want to make sure you have your volume at a really good level, because one thing this game will do is when the moment any part of you becomes within the view point of an opponent, this sound effect will start playing, warning you that it's a subtle warning that you are in the lines in the eyesight of someone. So you better get out of there before they notice you. So it's a good idea to also pay attention with your ears, not just with your eyes, when playing these sections.
So you're saying if you're getting close to being in someone's line of sight, the screen darkens a little.
That's it. Line of sight. That's the expression I was looking for.
Oh my! Well, Pokemon Sun did that too. How many games have I played recently that have?
All right, did you notice? They found one of the dead corpses, and now they're actually looking for me.
All right.
And now time to ambush this guy from behind.
Okay, even though we've never seen this guy before, we know who we're looking for.
Well, they saw the dead body, so obviously they know there's someone in here.
But what if they capture the wrong person? What if it's just like an innocent civilian?
Alright, so that guy's the last guy, so let's see. He's coming this way, I think. Yeah, he is. Alright. Come here. Haha.
Oh yeah. Remember in our original LP we had we kept track of how many times one of the characters clipped through the other.
I was kind of hoping he would not notice me while he was looking at the dead body.
Remember when we had that running gag where we kept count of how many times the characters were clipping? I think earlier on in the video I saw something like that happen.
All right. Well, yeah, it's interesting you say that, because as we saw in the original playthrough, the original PS3 version had a lot of times when you were trying to sneak away, it was easy for you to start clipping through your partner character, but the PS4 version improved upon the collision detection, so it happens a lot less in this version. It's a bit, it's a little late over where we are, audience, in case you're wondering.
And by we mean the Europeans of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get it? Get it? Europeans of us. The game is called Last of Us.
No.
There we are.
We're the Last of Us Europeans up at this time of night.
And there's Robert. That's our guy.
Yeah, just look at the way he nodded at that other mook. How cocky!
And look at that hoodie. Just doesn't fit him.
Well, he stole our guns, so he is kind of a dick.
That son of a bitch, he took our guns away!
Pedro, before we end the part, did that guy have a name?
Robert?
I'm just going to call him Cocky from now on.
Oh.
His name is Robert.
No, I'm going to call him Cocky.
He doesn't care, Joe, but he's just going to keep calling him Cocky. Anyway, see if
because look at his face.
See,
then a compromise. Cocky Robbie. There you go.
all right, everybody.
Okay.
In the next part, we actually do confront Robert, so tune in for that. See ya.
See you then.
Yeah.
So yeah.